Let's bring in James Hohmann. He's a national political correspondent for the Washington Post, and he joins us now from D.C. And James, under normal circumstances, the health care bill and the travel ban would be dominating the headlines at this point. But today, there's a lot of discussion that is centered around a personal attack from the President of the United States directed towards MSNBC hosts Mika Brzezinski and Joe Scarborough. What is your reaction to what the President had to say on Twitter this morning, and what are you hearing from those on Capitol Hill?
Donald Trump is his own worst enemy. Today actually could have been a very good day for him. They are making some strides in negotiations on health care. There are some votes on immigration matters and the travel ban, which is one of his priorities. And instead we're going to be talking about tweets and MSNBC hosts and facelifts. And I can tell you, my phone is blowing up, even as I'm sitting here, with text messages from top Republican staffers on Capitol Hill kind of banging their head against the wall in frustration at the president, that this is another self-inflicted wound, that Republican members of Congress they know are going to be asked all day today, what do you think of the president's latest provocative tweet? Do you think it's offensive to women? How would you react if your teenage son said what the president said this morning? And so that's going to be the conversation again today. And it's just exasperating and frustrating for Republicans who are trying to enact their agenda and trying to sell not only the public but themselves on this health care bill. And it also makes it harder. There's a couple wavering senators, women like Susan Collins from Maine and Lisa Murkowski from Alaska, who are leaning toward no, and Republicans have a very small margin of error. And the president attacking a woman in this way, when he has such a long history of making such comments, makes it that much harder to sell some of these wavering female senators on his signature priority. Yeah,
that's a very good point. Sarah Huckabee Sanders actually reacted to the president's tweet. She did an interview on Fox News earlier. Let's listen to what she had to say.
I don't think that the president's ever been someone who gets attacked and doesn't push back. There have been an outrageous number of personal attacks, not just to him, but to, frankly, everyone around him. People on that show have personally attacked me many times. This is a president who fights fire with fire and certainly will not be allowed to be bullied by liberal media and the liberal elites within the media or Hollywood or anywhere else.
I get it, but is that necessary?
Look, I think what's necessary is to push back against unnecessary attacks on the president, both personally. I've seen far worse things come out of that show, again, directed not just at the president, but everyone around him. Personal attacks, mean, hateful attacks. And again, this president isn't going to sit back and not push back, and he's going to fight fire with fire, and I think that's exactly what he did
I've heard that from you, and I've heard that from him, but it just seems like it is entirely more personal than it needs to be. And I'm wondering if you want to address that.
I think I have addressed that as much as I can in terms of the president, again, isn't going to be somebody who's bullied and allows people himself and those around him to be personally attacked.
He would argue that he's always going to punch back and he's not going to fire the first shot, and perhaps he feels the criticism toward him is unwarranted.
I mean, the outrageous attacks that take place on that show day in, day out, not just at the president and not against his policies, not against things that he's pushing, but they're personal and they're not just directed at him, but again, everyone around him. I've been called a lot of names on that show that don't have anything to do with my beliefs or ideology or policy, but they're personal attacks.
Is there something we need to know more about this relationship?
Not that I'm aware of. I couldn't speak to anything.
There is no backstory that has not become public that would lead him to choose this wording?
I honestly wouldn't. I'm not aware of any extra backstory.
All right, I wonder what that questioning was about. So the president is not going to be bullied. I think that some would certainly argue that that tweet is a pretty good example of what cyberbullying looks like. Your response to her response?
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of funny and remarkable that that's the official White House talking point, is the president fights fire with fire. You mentioned cyberbullying. That's what this is. Melania Trump last year during the campaign said that her signature initiative, if she was going to become First Lady, would be to combat cyberbullying. We obviously all kind of joked about it at the time because Trump tweeting isn't new. The White House recently announced that Melania will no longer pursue the cyberbullying initiative, and the White House just put out a statement from Melania Trump's press secretary saying the president has always said that he's going to fight fire with fire and punch back 10 times harder than he's ever punched. I think we've had presidents in the past who had thin skin, but they kept their mouth shut. We've never seen anything like this from presidents of either party to say these kinds of things when you have the bully pulpit of the presidency. In the last couple of weeks, Sean Spicer, the White House press secretary, said anything the president tweets is an official White House statement. So to have an official White House statement like this directed at a private citizen, although a member of the media, is really just a remarkable thing. It's not normal. And again, it's Trump being his own worst enemy. The people who are most frustrated about this are Republicans on Capitol Hill who are actually trying to enact the president's agenda and his policies into law.
And two of those Republicans, Senators Lindsey Graham and Ben Sasse, as you know, both took to Twitter to criticize the president. They both said his tweets were beneath the office. Do you think we may be approaching a tipping point of some kind when it comes to the president's rhetoric?
You know, I think I would have answered that question yes dozens of times if we had come on over the past 2 years. And, you know, as I say, this isn't normal. But as far as the president's concerned, he keeps winning. You know, he attacked Megyn Kelly 2 years ago, also talking about blood, as he did this morning. And you know, he survived. He got through it. He even thrived. And so I think as far as the president's concerned, he's always kind of crossed the line as far as we're all concerned. And he, you know, keeps on keeping on and doesn't suffer any consequences. And until he does, I don't think the president's going to change. And if you know, we've had so many straws, it's always hard to know, is this going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back? I think it's very easy to see a lot of Republicans on Capitol Hill publicly saying they're disappointed. That's the word they like to use. But then hoping this blows over as we head into the quiet July 4th weekend and that we sort of forget about it and move on to the next outrage, you know, by Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, I don't see it somehow blowing over, at least not today. James Hohmann of the Washington Post, as always, my friend, we thank you.
Thank you.